Welcome to the first episode of Crunch Time. This is a brand new sports podcast. I am your host, Noah Elkin.
I'm Austin Mann. Welcome to our first show. We're going to talk about a variety of topics going on in the sports world today. So Noah, what's the first topic?
All right, so Jimmy Butler has been going around the news lately. He's requested a trade from the Minnesota Timberwolves. He said that his three ideal destinations would be LA Clippers, the New York Knicks, or the Brooklyn Nets. And another kind of side piece to this story is pretty soon after that news broke, Karl Anthony Towns signed a Supermax five-year, $190 million deal with the Timberwolves. So it's kind of cemented that Cat is going to be their franchise player for the future and not Jimmy Butler.
All right, real question is, where would you like to see Jimmy Butler land?
I think it would be fun to see him either with the Knicks or with the Clippers. I think if he and Porzingis could stay healthy together with their young core, I think that would be entertaining. Or if you could pair him with like a Tobias Harris in LA.
Just think about, like, if you went with the Knicks, think about you have a legit inside threat and a legit perimeter threat. That could low-key be a really dangerous team. But I don't have much faith in the Knicks, though, just because think about their supporting cast.
Yeah, I think they would definitely need like at least one more semi-star player and a better role players. But I think an even bigger problem than that is Jimmy Butler and Kristaps Porzingis, as we know, have both struggled with injuries. Porzingis hasn't played in almost a full season. I don't think he'll be ready by the first game this year.
I think he's supposed to come back in November, December at the earliest.
Right, and Jimmy Butler has his knee issues. Yeah. So I don't know. I think on paper it looks great, but it's something to be skeptical.
But plus, like, who would you build a package around for the Knicks? Like, you have a lot of unproven talent, like Frank Ntilikina. Like, obviously there's potential there, but it's like I wouldn't want to trade him. I would not give up Jimmy Butler for a guy who just is very mediocre. Yeah, I think if you're the Knicks front office, I think that's Frank is your guy to send in a package deal, maybe with a first round pick or two. Yeah, and that might do it. I don't know. The Clippers, I feel like, would be an interesting possibility just because they can easily sign another max free agent just because Jimmy Butler's there. Well, if he gets traded there, obviously. And it's LA. And who doesn't? A lot of players want to play in LA for some reason.
Right. I mean, look at Kawhi Leonard. He's got one year on his Toronto contract, and he's already said that the Clippers are a potential destination that he wants to be. So there's another thing you got to think about is maybe Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris, and then you're adding him to the mix. Like, that's going to be quite the trio right there.
If he goes to the Clippers, I feel like you would have to include Tobias Harris in that deal, just because.
That's definitely.
Think about it. He's their franchise player now, and like.
Ooh, that's a tough thought to think about.
It's like he's their franchise player.
No, I think that's fair. You might have to trade him if you're willing to give up a decent amount of future draft picks, sell out for like the now. I think potentially you have a chance to keep him, but I know that Minnesota is looking for. A really good deal for Jimmy Butler. I don't think they're gonna honor his trade demand unless they think they can get enough value for him.
Well, if you look at the news, like Tom Thibodeau is in no rush to get a trade, but the owners, Glenn Taylor's in such a rush to get the trade. Like, he really wants him to take any offer. But I'm like, hold up, y'all kind of like gave up a lot for Jimmy Butler.
And, yeah, definitely.
And so it's like I'm a Thibodeau there just because it's like. He boofed it because he didn't expect Jimmy Butler to just request a trade a year after. He thought it was going to be like a long-term thing. But I just don't see a scenario where they're going to get what they want because he's only signed for one more year, and he's made it clear that he's only going to sign with certain teams with an extension. So it's like, I don't know. The Timberwolves have high hopes for this, and I don't think it's going to work out. They're just going to have to eventually settle.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out. All right, so moving on to the world of football. How about them Browns? Browns recorded their first win in over 600 days. Here's a little fact for you. Right now, the Browns have a better record than the New England Patriots.
And no one likes the New England Patriots. But, I mean, I think the Browns, they have a lot of potential. I don't see them making the playoffs this year just because I don't know. They have a lot of young pieces, and they're still trying to figure out how to mesh well together as a team. Like, they barely beat the Jets, and the Jets are a very sad team. But, like, I think Baker Mayfield is going to be a solid franchise quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, and with the Jets game, yeah, we all know the Jets aren't the greatest of teams, but at the same time, like the Jets were up 14-0 at halftime, or right before halftime. Baker Mayfield did not really play most of the first half, and he was still able to bring about a win.
Yeah, the fact that he still threw for over almost 300 yards in one half of football just amazes me. And it's like, I think the Browns have something to look forward to in the future. Like,
Absolutely.
They're going to be a playoff team within the next 2 or 3 years, I feel like.
I think I agree with you. I don't think they'll make the playoffs this year, but I think they'll be close. I think 8-8 is a real possibility. Carlos Hyde has actually played real well.
Stayed healthy.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I think their defense is looking much better.
Oh, yeah. They've always had, like, a solid pass rush, and their secondary has been always okay, but their offense has always been abysmal. And it's like, football's all about scoring points.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if you're a Browns fan, I think this is finally the real deal. You know, you're under new management. I think this is finally the quarterback you've been looking for since 1999 or so. I don't know. I think give it a year or two, but you're going to be in a real good position.
Like, Baker Mayfield doesn't have like any special defining qualities, but he's just a winner.
He can throw the deep ball,
and he can throw that fucking deep ball.
Yeah, and that's another thing about him is I don't know. There's something about him. He has the energy to him.
Yeah,
like I watched that Thursday night football game, and when he came out, the crowd was just going wild. It's something I feel like I haven't seen from the Browns fans in a long time.
He just has that like it factor that you need from a franchise quarterback. Like you don't know what it is, but you're just like, this is a guy I want to lead my team.
Yeah, I feel that. All right, how about Le'Veon Bell? I haven't heard too much about him in the last week or so, but in case you haven't heard, he is holding out due to contract negotiations. Obviously, we've played 3 weeks of football. He has not. James Conner, the backup, has been filling in for him. I think the longest he can go before he loses money is week 10.
Yeah. I just think the Steelers know they're not going to keep Le'Veon after this year, and so they're kind of okay with it just because Le'Veon has clearly said he's probably not going to resign with the Steelers after the season. He even said, like, after he got the franchise tag that this is probably my last season. And I think the Steelers have already moved on. Like, James Conner looks promising. I mean, it would be nice to have Le'Veon. Just think about, like, Antonio Brown, Ben Roethlisberger, and Le'Veon Bell. Like, that's
not to mention Juju.
And Juju, like, that's a solid freaking offense right there. Like, especially those skilled positions. Like, if they just had a really solid tight end, like, I think they would have the best offense in the league.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a fair point. I don't know. I think Le'Veon Bell is obviously still a top 2, top 3 running back in the league, but at the same time, James Conner has filled in very nicely, like about as nice as you can, you know, in that scenario. So I think it'll be interesting. I also would not be surprised if Le'Veon Bell is on a different team either later this season or next season. All right, so moving on. Jimmy Garoppolo tore his ACL on Sunday, which as a 49er fan myself broke my heart. I'm real sad about it. But as a silver lining, one of our other players you might not have heard of, Matt Breida, who was supposed to be our second, maybe even third string back coming into the season, is currently the NFL's leading rusher. And he's done it in 32 attempts. He's actually tied with Ezekiel Elliott with 274 rushing yards from scrimmage, but Zeke's done it in 48 attempts. So that's 16 attempts difference right there. That's not nothing. I don't think anyone saw this coming from Matt Breida.
Yeah, Matt Breida definitely surprised so far of the NFL season, just because Jerick McKinnon, everyone had high expectations, then just goes down in training camp, and everyone's like, well, I guess Jimmy is going to have to carry us this year. And then Jimmy went down, so I guess it's all on Matt.
Yeah, I don't think the 49ers are going to the playoffs this year without Jimmy Garoppolo, but they are showing signs of some young talent. They got a young group of guys. You got Reuben Foster, Fred Warner as the brand new linebackers who are both doing real good. I think you got pieces, and I think similar to the Browns in a couple of years, I think they'll be in a really good position.
Well, also, like, I think C.J. Beathard's a solid quarterback, but he's not someone you're expecting to win games for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, he is definition of game manager. Like, second coming of Alex Smith.
See, the one thing I have a lot of respect about for C.J. Beathard is last year we had arguably the worst offensive line in the NFL, and C.J. Beathard stood back there, took roughly 5 sacks a game, just game after game, and every time he got back up. So I have a lot of respect for C.J.
Plus, he takes care of the football.
He definitely does. Yes.
He's not going to do anything. He's not going to wag on the stat sheet. Like, don't expect him to throw 400 yards every game, but he's definitely he'll put a touchdown, maybe 2 a game.
Yeah, all right. So speaking of quarterbacks, there's a number of young quarterbacks who have taken the field for the first time this year. We already talked about Mayfield. In terms of rookies, you got Aaron Darnold or Josh Rosen. Did you get a chance to see
Josh Rosen Josh Rosen just made his NFL debut. Very disappointing. I mean, the Cardinals are a god-awful team. No offensive line. Like, your best receiver is like almost 40. Come on, Cardinals. Just restart.
Yeah, I think the Cardinals are in a tough position where you got some talent in Larry Fitzgerald and David Johnson. Now you got Josh Rosen, but to be honest with you, that's about all you got.
Even though, like, David Johnson's been very disappointing this season. Like, I was expecting him to, just be the entire Cardinals offense, but I realized the defense is expecting to be the entire Cardinals offense, so they've really been shutting him down. And, I mean, look at their quarterback situation. Like, you have Sam Bradford, who is, like, potentially, like, one of the biggest NFL busts.
I think Sam Bradford, had he been able to stay healthy throughout his career, would have been better. I also think he is still a better option than Josh Rosen. Yeah. Right now, I think that'll change soon. But right now, in this moment, if I'm who is it Bruce Arians on the Cardinals?
No, it's Steve Wilkes.
Okay, if I'm Steve Wilkes, I'm probably starting Sam Bradford next week.
Well, yeah. I mean, Sam Bradford is like a serviceable quarterback. But, I mean, it's also Sam Bradford has been on 4 teams in the last 3 years, and so I just think he definitely needs like a year or 2 to just fully adjust to the playbook.
That's what I thought about Nick Foles, but we know how that went down.
Yeah, but like speaking of young quarterbacks, my boy
Patrick Mahomes,
balling out. He has not thrown an interception this year.
13 touchdowns. He broke a record, by the way.
Peyton Manning's record for most touchdowns by a rookie.
It's in the first 3 games of the season.
But like, considering Pat Mahomes is just in his first season as a quarterback, and Peyton Manning was like going through his like last really good year in the NFL.
That's true.
And like, I think Pat Mahomes has got a big future. Like, Kansas City's got a lot to be excited about.
I think if I'm Patrick Mahomes, I'm thinking to myself like wow, I landed in exactly the right place for me. Because if you look at the Chiefs, they have so much talent at the skill positions around him. You got Kareem Hunt. You got
Tyreek Hill,
Travis Kelce. Yeah, there you go. Travis, one of the best tight ends in the league right now.
I think hands down the best tight end in the league.
Yeah.
I think him and Zach Ertz are probably the top 2 tight ends, just because
Definitely
they block well and they catch well and they know how to run a nice route.
Exactly. Yeah, so I don't know. I think Chiefs fans have a lot to be excited about. I think Patrick Mahomes is the real deal. I think he has a very bright future.
I think Deshaun Watson, though, I mean, he's still a franchise quarterback. I just think the Texans don't have enough around him yet to like fully compete. Just because Lamar Miller's a very mediocre running back. Their offensive line's not that great. They have some great receivers, but they need like a better tight end, I think, in my opinion.
I think their defense could use some work as well.
Yeah, their pass rush is always great, but like their secondary's a lot to be desired.
Yeah, another young team. I think give them a couple of years with some decent drafts, and they could be in a good position.
Yeah.
I like Deshaun Watson a lot. I love what he can do with his legs. He's got to cut back on the interceptions a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, think about it, though. He's always has to scramble just because, like, the pass rush easily breaks through that line.
That's true.
And so he's always just, like, running around. I think
He's
he looks like the next like Russell Wilson.
I was just gonna say he's looking like a young Russell Wilson running around.
Like Russell Wilson had a lot of issues taking care of the ball early on in his career. I think he'll figure it out as he just gets more comfortable in the pocket. But like if you look at his Clemson days, like
He was a beast.
he was a beast, and most of his best plays came when he was just scrambling out of the pocket, just trying to just make something out of nothing. So I think you got a bright future. Definitely, if the Texans just fix their line, Deshaun Watson's going to have a Hall of Fame career.
All right, you heard it here first. How about officiating issues? So there's a new rule in the NFL this year where if you're sacking a quarterback, you're not supposed to drive like your own weight into the quarterback. You're supposed to sort of like roll off of them, as to not put as much weight directly on the quarterback as you both go to the ground. And there's been a lot of controversy around this rule. I believe it was week 1. The Packers played the Vikings, and the Packers should have won that game, or would have won that game, had it not been for a flag on Clay Matthews, who had sacked Kirk Cousins and come down with a lot of body weight on Kirk Cousins. Anyways, that led to a drive by the Vikings, a touchdown, and then overtime.
It's like essentially saying that, listen, you can tackle this quarterback, but actually not tackle this quarterback. It's like the same thing as like a wide receiver running with the ball. Someone's gonna tackle him and put this body weight. It's the same thing. It's just like I think the NFL is more looking out for like their superstars because quarterbacks are highly marketable.
Right.
So from a business standpoint, I see why they're doing it, but from a football perspective, it's kind of dumb. You're essentially just saying, don't tackle them, just push them down. That's it.
Yeah, I can get behind all the rules concerning like head to head or helmet to helmet contact. I think all the rules that try to reduce that are great for the NFL. I don't like this one. I feel like it it gives the defense a disadvantage. Like for example, there's a defensive lineman who plays for Miami named William Hayes who tore his ACL this weekend, trying to avoid putting most of his weight on a quarterback as he was bringing him to the ground. So this rule that was really designed to prevent injuries, arguably is actually causing injuries. So you wonder if that rule is here to stay.
I definitely think like after this season, that rule is going to get a long look and be like most likely rescinded. Just because think about how much the players don't like that rule at all. It's just like you're just kind of football is a physical game, and it's kind of like you're trying to ruin the physicality of football, and that's what football is known for.
Yeah, that's what the people want.
The people want to see a quarterback get sacked. Like, nothing's more gratifying than seeing Tom Brady just get sacked.
Yeah. All right, how about Tiger Woods winning his first tournament since, was it 2013?
Yeah, it's been a minute. I mean, honestly, I'm glad Tiger Woods has his life back together, but I still can't respect him as a person. It's just like, why are we still like praising someone who literally cheated on his wife, like literally just turned his back on his family and lied to his family's face, and somehow we welcomed him back in the public with open arms. Like, I understand he apologized, but like, I don't know.
I feel like an apology only does so much.
An apology only does so much. And like Tiger Woods, he tries to make himself look better, but I don't know. I just feel like Tiger Woods is kind of old news, and I don't really care for Tiger Woods that much.
All right, so here's a question: is there anything that Tiger Woods could do to earn back your respect?
Just not cheat on anybody.
All right, fair enough.
Like, especially like if you have kids, don't cheat on your wife with kids. Just get a divorce. Like, it's essentially at that point, like if you don't love your wife, then just don't cheat on her with like all the nannies.
Yeah, what are you doing, Tiger?
What are you doing, Tiger?
All right. You wanna talk about your A's for a little bit?
Oh, big Oakland A's fan. I come from the Bay Area. I'm really happy that they just clinched the playoff spot, just because looking at their rotation, like, it's just some straight up bums. Like, Edwin Jackson is our best pitcher, and this man has played on 13 MLB teams, and we literally just signed him to a minor league contract in like beginning of the season. and somehow he's our number one pitcher. But I think the A's are definitely a team to stay just because you don't really, our bullpen is solid. Like we have Blake Trinan, Jesus Familia. They're just like, basically we have 4 closers on our team as our bullpen. And so it's like our starting pitching really just has to give us like 4 or 5 good innings and the bullpen's got the rest. And our offense is looking real nice. Like Chris Davis leads the league in home runs. Matt Chapman's providing excellent defense at the hot corner, has been heating up as of late. Also, speaking of another Matt Olson's definitely killing it too right now. I just think the A's are a sleeper team, and I think they'll beat the Yankees in the wild card game.
Ooh, all right.
I'm making it. I'm making the bold claim.
You heard it here. All right, well, that's all the time we have. I want to thank y'all for sticking with us through our first attempt at this. This has been Crunch Time. For Awesome Man, I'm Noah Elkin.
Enjoy. Have a good night, y'all. See you later.